Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Andrew coming back at you with another episode of the Jaguar podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be discussing the Trevor Lawrence Pro Day, his surgery, and then Urban Meyer's finalized coaching staff. So let's get into it. But before we start, as always, show your support for the channel, hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon if you want updates on the latest content. All right, so I'm a little late on this, I know, but Trevor Lawrence, his pro day was a few weeks ago. I watched it. I liked what I saw. I don't take much stock in it though, right? Because, he's throwing passes to his own receivers from Clemson. Is this a real measurement of what we're going to see from him on the field in the NFL? No. But I think it was a good move that he did have his own pro day. He was transparent. He was out there in front of Urban Meyer and Darrell Bevell throwing some nice balls. Some were missed here and there, but no big deal. I mean, it's just people make mistakes and they're not perfect. But he looked really good, was putting a lot of zip on the ball, and just, looked really great. So I'm really excited to see what he does if we draft him. There was also another kind of situation with Trevor Lawrence. He had a torn labrum in his left shoulder. Luckily, it's not his throwing arm, but, it's a concern. As far as I know, he went in and he had that surgery and it was successful. But there are some concerns that I have about this. One, what is the recovery time for this injury? I think they say it's about 6 weeks. But, will we see him in training camp? Will he be limited in the off season? And will that affect him and his preparation for the upcoming regular season? I know it's not his throwing arm, but, it is his left shoulder. And, it's not, it's not, like I said, his throwing arm, but I think, it will potentially affect his delivery. I think he may have some, issues with kind of delivering the ball because, even though you're not throwing with your left hand, obviously, because Trevor Lawrence is a right-hander, it's kind of like pitching, right? Like where you have a delivery, and I think even if you do have a shoulder injury on your non-throwing arm, it can affect how you deliver the ball. It can affect your mechanics. And I always kind of think about Nick Foles and when he broke his clavicle. I never thought he was the same, and it was his left side as well. It wasn't his labrum, but it was his clavicle, which is pretty close to that muscle. But anyways, I think he was never the same after that injury. I think he just kind of looked uncomfortable. We never really knew what was going on because it's, again, an injury that's under your shoulder pad, so you can't see much. You're limited to what you really can notice is bothering a player. So those are kind of my concerns, but I think he'll likely have a good recovery. We'll see what happens, but that is, some cause for concern. Another item I want to talk about is Urban Meyer. He finalized his coaching staff. I'm not going to go through everybody, but I'm going to go through a few that I thought were highlights or standouts. I mean, obviously, Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator, spoke about him in some previous episodes. I think he's an okay hire. He's had some success with Russell Wilson early on in Seattle, so it's good to see that Urban's bringing in some experienced hires that have some experience in the NFL. So I think that's a plus. And, he didn't do too well as a head coach over in Detroit, but, he's assistant now, and I think he will have a great opportunity to be successful in this role. Another hire that I want to talk about is Brian Schottenheimer. I believe he's the son of the late Marty Schottenheimer. May he rest in peace. A great coach. And he will be the passing game coordinator for Urban Meyer. on his staff. It's kind of a weird title, I know, but it kind of sounds like a quarterback's coach, but I don't know. I don't know what that really title is. But I think he's had some success as well over in Seattle, so I think that will be a good hire. George Warhop, it will be the offensive line coach. I don't like this hire very much. I think the offensive line was pretty mediocre last year. I don't think we did a very good job of protecting Minshew. I don't think we did a very good job of opening up holes for James Robinson towards the latter half of the season. So I'd really like to see some improvements there. So seeing them bring back George Warhop is a little concerning to me. And just some of the recent moves they made with tagging Cam Robinson and kind of the whole situation with Andrew Norwell. I'll be talking more about that in another episode in the future, but I am not impressed with this hire. We go to running backs coach Brian Parmalee. He is a former running back. I believe he played for the Miami Dolphins. I think this could be a good hire. He's got a lot of experience in the NFL. I know he's coached for a variety of teams as well. So don't know too much about him, but I think this could be a decent hire. Tyler Bowen, he will be the tight ends coach. I believe he coached over at Penn State. Again, I don't know much about him. I know the tight end position needs a lot of help. We had just announced that we have not renewed Tyler Eifert's second-year option on his contract. So the tight end room is looking pretty thin in terms of depth. James O'Shaughnessy is a free agent. We don't know if he's going to be coming back. It would be nice. I think it would add some depth and veteran leadership in the tight end room, but we don't know, of course, if he will be returning or not. I think they should re-sign him. I think they could get him on a reasonable deal, but time will tell. Joe Cullen, who will be the defensive coordinator for Jacksonville. I like this hire. I had Tom McManus on the podcast. He had a lot of great things to say about Joe Cullen. He's had a lot of success in Baltimore with the defensive line. I know he is a boomerang, used to coach with Jack Del Rio in Jacksonville, I believe, when he was there in 2010 as the head coach. So I like Joe Cullen. He doesn't have much experience as a defensive coordinator, so that's a little concerning, but I think he could do a really good job. I think there's a lot of potential there, so I like this hire. Zach Orr, he is a former player. I believe he was a linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens. We'll be bringing him on as an outside linebackers coach. I like this hire. Linebacker position needs a lot of help, and I think he's going to bring a lot to this coaching spot. So I really like this hire, and I think hopefully he'll help improve, Caleb Von Chasen and Josh Allen, and see how he can improve this defense in a 3-4 scheme, because our defense needs a lot of help. I believe we were 31st in team defense in 2020. So we need a lot of help, and the linebackers need to get better. So I think he could do a great job at this position, or at this staffing position. Charlie Strong, he'll be the inside linebackers coach for Jacksonville. He used to be a former head coach, I believe, over at Louisville. Then he was at the University of South Florida, and I think he was also an assistant coach over at University of Florida, and I believe that's how he knows Urban Meyer. I like this hire. I think he's got a lot of experience, and hopefully he can improve our linebacking core. So those are some of the main call-outs. I think the last one I missed was Sanjay Lal, who I wanted to mention, wide receivers coach. I don't know much about him. I know he was over at the Cowboys. I believe he did play in college for the Huskies. I don't know much about him. I wish they had honestly kept Keenan McCardell. I liked Keenan McCardell. I thought he did a great job with the wide receiving core. So I don't know if I like this hire. Time will tell. So I think the jury's still out on Sanjay Lal and whether I like this hire or not. But Some of the other coaching staff positions, I don't know much about. I'm not going to talk much about them because I just don't know much about them. But, obviously we're going to be needing a new head of sports performance. Chris Doyle he resigned, a couple weeks ago. That was a whole show, to say the least. So I believe Urban Meyer is looking for a replacement for that staffing position. He announced it on his press conference today. So that's really all I'm going to talk about in terms of the coaching staff updates and that I think are worth talking about. But let me know how you feel about Trevor Lawrence's pro day, the surgery, and some of the coaching staff updates that we have for Urban Meyer, his staff. Stop by Apple Podcast, leave me a review, come by, the YouTube channel, leave me a comment on this video. Let me know how you feel about this. A lot of updates, a lot of things going on right now in the off season. So you'll see more videos and podcast episodes coming your way. Subscribe to the channel as always. If you liked the video, give me a like. Stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy. Go Jags, and I'll see you next time.